When was the last time you actually thought about your liver? Not your weight, not your blood pressure, not your knees. Your liver. For most people over the age of 55, the honest answer is never. Not once. Not in years. And that, right there, is the problem. Because while you have been worrying about everything else, this one organ has been quietly absorbing the consequences of every meal, every drink, every late dinner, for decades. It does not send you a bill. It does not ache the way a bad knee aches. It just changes, slowly, silently, and by the time it finally speaks up, a great deal has already happened inside it. So, here is what I want to do with you tonight. I want to show you exactly what happens inside your liver between the age of 55 and the age of 75 if nothing changes. Stage by stage. What you feel. What you do not feel yet. And then the precise window. It is narrower than most people think, where the right foods on your plate can still turn the entire thing around. Before we go further, I want to be honest with you about one thing. There is an entire industry built around selling you a cleanse for an organ that already cleans itself. We will talk about why most of that is a waste of your money. And if the way I explain this is the kind of explanation you have been looking for, I have put the full step-by-step version into a short, plain language guide called the Drainage Protocol, a simple reset built for people over 55, covering the exact metabolic load we are about to discuss. The link is in the description below if you want it, but you do not need it to follow tonight. Everything here stands on its own. Now, let me start with the phrase that probably brought you to this video in the first place. Cleaning out your liver. You have seen it everywhere. Teas, juices, powders, 3-day flushes, capsules that promise to scrub the organs spotless. So let me tell you the truth, gently but plainly. Your liver is not a dirty filter that needs scrubbing. Your liver is the thing doing the cleaning. It is the cleaner, not the mess. This is the most important reframe in the whole video, so stay with me. Your liver handles something close to 500 separate jobs. It runs every hour of every day. It neutralizes alcohol. It breaks down medications. It manages your blood sugar between meals. It packages fat. It filters what arrives from your gut before it ever reaches the rest of you. Hepatologists at Johns Hopkins put it simply, the liver is a self-cleaning organ, and there is no good evidence that detox teas or cleanse products clean it or improve how it works. Worse, some of those supplements have actually caused liver injury. People take something to help the liver, and it harms it instead. So the goal was never to clean your liver. The goal is to stop overloading it and to feed it in a way that lets it do its own job. That is a completely different project. And it is a project you can absolutely win. Here is the picture I want you to hold on to for the rest of this video, because everything else hangs on it. Picture an old chimney, a real one, the kind that carries smoke up and out of a house. When you burn good, dry, seasoned wood, that chimney stays clean. The fire burns hot, the smoke rises and leaves. But when you keep stuffing in the wrong fuel, wet wood, greasy scraps, anything that smolders instead of burning clean, something starts to coat the inside of that chimney. A dark, sticky, tarry residue. It has a name, creosote. At first, that creosote is soft. You could brush it away with very little effort. But if the smoldering continues, the layer gets thicker, stickier. The smoke starts backing up because the passage is narrowing, and if it goes on long enough, that soft residue hardens into a glaze, a baked-on coating that no brush can touch. Here is the part that matters most. The danger was never the fire you could see. The danger was always the buildup you could not. Your liver works the same way. The fat that builds up inside it is the creosote. And the entire timeline I am about to walk you through is the story of that residue, soft and removable at first, then sticky, then hard. So let us walk it. Stage 1. What is happening right now? If you are over 55 and carrying extra weight around your middle, or living with higher blood sugar, or higher blood pressure, there is a real chance fat is quietly collecting inside your liver cells at this very moment. The medical name for it is hepatic steatosis. Steatosis simply meaning fat accumulation. Doctors now group it under a longer-term metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease. But you do not need the mouthful. You just need the picture. Fat in the liver, where it does not belong. And here is what makes this stage so quiet. You feel almost nothing. Maybe a little more tired than you think you should be. Maybe a vague heaviness. Mostly, nothing at all. According to physicians at the University of Chicago, roughly 100 million Americans are living with fatty liver right now, close to 1 in 3 adults, and the large majority have no idea. It is usually found by accident on a routine blood test when two liver enzymes called ALT and AST come back a little high. That is it. No pain, no warning. This is the soft creosote, the brush it away stage. And I want you to hear me clearly on this. At this point, the fat is reversible. Not managed, not slowed. Reversible. Simple fatty liver, caught here, can melt away. The organ is not damaged yet. It is loaded. There is a difference, and the difference is everything. Stage 2. Now, move the clock forward. Maybe 18 months. Maybe a few years. If the overload continues, if the wrong fuel keeps going in, the liver stops quietly storing the fat and starts reacting to it. It becomes inflamed. The medical term is steatohepatitis, that is steatosis, the fat, plus hepatitis, meaning inflammation of the liver. This is the smoldering stage. The chimney is no longer just coated. It is starting to smoke. What does this feel like? Often, still very little. But this is where some people notice a genuine, stubborn fatigue that sleep does not fix. A dull sense of fullness under the right side of the rib cage. Liver enzymes on that blood test climbing higher than before. The Mayo Clinic notes that this inflamed form can still be reversed. That is the good news. And it is real, but the body is now actively fighting the buildup. The smoke is backing up. And every month, the fuel stays wrong, the residue gets a little stickier. I want you to notice something about this timeline. Nothing dramatic has happened to announce it. There was no single bad day. That is exactly why people miss it. You do not feel yourself crossing from stage 1 into stage 2. You just look up one year and the tiredness has become the normal you have quietly accepted. Stage 3. 5 years on, sometimes longer. This is the stage the whole video is built to help you avoid. When inflammation runs long enough, the liver begins to lay down scar tissue. The medical word is fibrosis, fibrous scarring inside the organ. This is the creosote hardening into glaze, and scar tissue does not do the work that living liver does. It just sits there, stiff, taking up space where a working cell used to be. According to UCSF Health, this scarring builds slowly. Each stage of fibrosis averages around 7 years, which is both a mercy and a trap. A mercy because it gives you time. A trap because it gives you time to ignore it. And past a certain amount of scarring, the liver reaches a stage called cirrhosis, where so much of the organ has been replaced by scar that it cannot recover. A long-term follow-up study that tracked patients for more than a decade found that a meaningful share of people with the inflamed form went on to develop that advanced scarring. That is the chimney glaze that no brush will ever lift. So now you have the full arc in front of you. Soft fat, then inflammation, then hard scar. Quiet the whole way down. And here is the turning point, the single most important sentence in this entire video. Everything before the scar hardens is reversible. The fat stage, reversible. The inflamed stage, reversible. Even early scarring can soften and regress. The point of no return is not where most people fear it is. It is much further down the road than the panic online suggests. You almost certainly have more room than you think, but that room is not infinite, and it is the reason the foods we are about to discuss matter so much. Right now, at your age, more than they did at 40. The research is encouraging here, and I want to give it to you straight. The Mayo Clinic reports that losing even 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly improve a fatty liver, and that more recent reviews show weight and diet changes can reverse the fat, calm the inflammation, and in many cases, shrink early scarring. The organ wants to heal. It is built to. You simply have to stop handing it the wrong fuel and start handing it the right one. Subscribe so you do not miss the next one. These mechanisms connect to each other, and the next video builds directly on this window we are standing in right now. Before I give you the foods, I have to stop and draw a hard line, because this is where being responsible matters more than being reassuring. Most fatty liver is silent and reversible. But certain signs mean the conversation is no longer about food. It is about seeing a doctor. Soon, not someday. If you notice yellowing of your skin or the whites of your eyes, if your abdomen begins to swell or feel tight in a new way, if you have persistent pain under the right side of your ribs, if your urine turns dark or your stools turn pale, if you are bruising easily, losing weight without trying, or feeling unusually confused or drowsy, any one of those, you do not wait. You call your doctor. And even without those signs, do this one thing. Ask for a simple liver blood test, those ALT and AST enzymes, so you actually know where you stand instead of guessing. If you take any medications, talk to your clinician before changing them and before adding any supplement, because some of the very products marketed for the liver are the ones most likely to harm it. The plan tonight is food, not pills. Food is the part you control. So let us get to it. The foods that actually help your liver not by cleansing it, but by lowering the load and feeding the repair. I'm going to give you a short, honest list, the ones with the strongest evidence behind them, and I want you to think of them as the dry, seasoned wood that burns clean. Start with the one almost nobody expects. Coffee. Plain, unsweetened coffee is one of the most consistently liver-protective things you can drink. Physicians at the University of Chicago recommend up to 3 cups a day for liver health, and research links regular coffee to lower liver enzymes and a reduced risk of scarring. One condition: no sugar, no syrups. Black, or close to it. The sweetener undoes the benefit. Next, the green foundation. Leafy greens and the cabbage family: spinach, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. These do something quietly powerful. They support the liver's own built-in detox enzymes, the real cleaning system the cleanse industry pretends to sell you. They also bring fiber, which steadies the blood sugar that drives so much of this. A national scoping review of liver-friendly diets found that vegetables, whole grains, and this kind of fiber sit at the center of every credible recommendation. Put something green on 2 of your meals a day. That is the habit. Third, fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout. These carry omega-3 fats, and research suggests omega-3 can lower the actual fat content inside the liver and calm inflammation. The exact 2 things happening in stages 1 and 2. Aim for fish twice a week. Tin sardines count. This does not have to be expensive. Fourth, the right fats in place of the wrong ones. This is a swap, not an addition. The Mayo Clinic points to unsaturated fats, olive oil, avocado, nuts used in place of butter, fried oils, and anything labeled hydrogenated. Same plate, different fat, and the liver responds. When you cook tonight, reach for olive oil. That single change, repeated, matters more than any supplement on any shelf. Fifth, the polyphenol foods. Walnuts, green tea, berries. The Mayo Clinic specifically names the plant compounds in black coffee, green tea, and walnuts as having antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects that can help reduce liver fat. A small handful of walnuts. A cup of green tea. These are easy to fold in. And sixth, beans and lentils. Legumes bring fiber and a slow-releasing kind of starch that keeps your blood sugar from spiking, and research has linked legume-rich diets to a lower likelihood of fatty liver in the first place. Garlic, whole grains, and a wide range of colorful vegetables round out the supporting cast. If you want the simplest possible summary of all of it, it is this: the Mediterranean pattern. Not a fad, the single eating pattern most liver specialists actually recommend. Now, I want to balance that with the fuel you take away, because adding good wood means nothing if you keep shoveling in the wet. The single biggest one is added sugar, and especially the fructose in sugary drinks. Here's the mechanism, because you deserve to understand it, not just obey it. When you flood your system with that kind of sugar, your liver responds by manufacturing fat, a process called de novo lipogenesis, which simply means building new fat from scratch. You drink the sugar, your liver turns it into the very creosote we have been talking about. So the soda, the sweet tea, the juice, those are not neutral. Those are the smolder. After that, fried foods, refined white carbohydrates, and excess alcohol. You do not need a dramatic purge. You need a steady tilt away from the smolder and toward the clean burn. So let me hand you the actual sequence, because a long list helps no one. Step 1. Replace one sugary or alcoholic drink each day with water or unsweetened coffee. Just one, to start. Step 2. Put a green vegetable on 2 meals a day. Frozen counts. Simple counts. Step 3. Swap your cooking fat to olive oil and bring fish onto your plate twice a week. Step 4. Add beans or lentils a few times a week in place of some of the red meat. That is the whole engine. 4 moves, not 20. You are not detoxing. You are changing the fuel. And you will want to know what to expect and in what order, because that is what keeps a person going. So here is the honest timeline of recovery. And notice it runs the same direction as the damage, just in reverse. The liver fat goes first. That is the fastest to respond, often within weeks to a few months of changing what is on your plate. Next, the inflammation settles, and those blood enzymes start drifting back toward normal over the following months. The scarring is the slowest. Early fibrosis can soften over many months to a couple of years, which is wonderful, but the most advanced scarring may only plateau rather than fully reverse. And that, one more time, is precisely why the window matters. The earlier in the timeline you start, the more of it comes back. If you want to start tonight, before this video is even over, here is what I would do. Whatever you were going to drink with dinner that has sugar or alcohol in it, swap it for water this one time. Tomorrow morning, make your coffee and leave the sugar out. Tomorrow at dinner, get something green on the plate. And this week, call and ask for that liver blood test, so the next time we talk about a stage, you actually know which one is yours. Small, specific, real. Now, I genuinely want to know who I am talking to tonight, because where you are in this timeline shifts with your decade. So tell me below, are you in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, or beyond? After 70, some of these mechanisms behave a little differently, and it changes which of these foods I would put first for you. Drop your decade in the comments. I read them, and they shape who I write the next one for. Here's what I want you to walk away holding. Your liver is not asking to be cleansed. It is asking to be unburdened. It has been doing 500 quiet jobs for you, every hour, for your whole life, without complaint. Tonight you learn to read its timeline, the soft stage, the smolder, the place where it hardens, and you learn the exact window where the fork on your plate still changes the ending. That window is open. Go put something green on tomorrow's plate. I will see you in the next one.